People love to say the old economy was harder. Less technology, less convenience, less access, less speed. And in some ways, that's true. But if modern life is supposed to be so advanced, why does it feel so much harder just to live normally? Why does everyday life now require more apps, more passwords, more subscriptions, more decisions, more fees, more updates, more planning, and somehow more stress? That's the strange part of this modern economy. It gave people more options, but it also made normal life more complicated, more fragmented, and more expensive to maintain. The old economy wasn't perfect, but in one important way, it was easier. It was simpler to understand, simpler to navigate, and much harder to accidentally leak money and energy every single day. And that difference matters more than most people realize. When people think about the old economy, they usually focus on what it lacked. No instant delivery, no one-click shopping, no food apps, no streaming everything, no algorithm making choices for you. So the modern world looks better on paper. It feels optimized, but optimized for what? Because a lot of modern systems are not optimized for comfort. They're optimized for engagement, retention, recurring payments, upsells, and behavioral dependence. That changes everything. In the old economy, you bought something, used it, and moved on. In the modern economy, you often enter a relationship with a payment system, and that relationship never really ends. That's one reason life felt easier before. The old economy had fewer ongoing decisions, fewer things to manage, fewer invisible drains. You paid rent, you paid utilities, you bought groceries. Maybe you had a car payment. That was still hard, but the structure was more visible. Today, the average person is managing a small financial operating system, streaming, cloud storage, phone plans, software, memberships, delivery services, auto renewals, buy now, pay later plans, service fees, convenience fees, platform fees. It's not just that life got more expensive. Life became more layered. And layered systems are harder to control because the most dangerous expenses are not always the biggest ones. They're the ones that quietly become permanent. And it's not just money, it's mental load. The old economy had fewer choices. People today complain about that, but fewer choices can actually reduce friction. You had fewer platforms, fewer accounts, fewer things to compare, fewer decisions to revisit every week. Now almost everything comes with options. Basic plan, premium plan, family plan, annual plan, add-on plan, limited time upgrade. Every small purchase now asks for more attention, and attention is not free. This is one of the biggest hidden costs of modern life. Not just paying more, but having to think more. A life with too many micro decisions becomes harder to enjoy, even if it looks more convenient from the outside. That's why people can have better technology than ever and still feel more exhausted than they expected. The old economy was also less aggressive. That doesn't mean it was fair. It means it was less invasive. Today, every screen is trying to extract something from you: your time, your focus, your impulse, your emotion, your money. Every app wants retention. Every platform wants recurring revenue. Every product wants a subscription. Every service wants an upgrade. Even free systems are often built to guide you towards spending. That creates a different kind of fatigue. Not physical labor fatigue. Decision fatigue. Attention fatigue. Resistance fatigue. Modern life can feel harder not because people became weaker, but because the economy became more psychologically demanding. and most people underestimate how expensive that is. If this feels familiar, subscribe. Because on this channel, we're not just talking about money. We're talking about the systems that quietly shape how people live, spend, and stay stuck. Another reason the old economy felt easier. Quality used to be easier to judge. Not always better, but easier to understand. You went to a store, you saw the product, you compared a few options, you bought one. Now everything is filtered through branding, reviews, ads, influencers, discount timers, fake urgency, premium positioning, and algorithmic recommendations. The modern economy gives you more information, but that doesn't always create more clarity. Sometimes it creates more manipulation. That's why people spend more time researching, more time hesitating, more time comparing, and still end up feeling unsure after buying. That kind of friction wears people down. Because if every purchase feels like a negotiation, normal life stops feeling normal. It starts feeling like a constant low-level battle. And then there's the biggest difference of all. The old economy had fewer ways to monetize ordinary life. Today, almost every ordinary behavior can be turned into a payment opportunity. Listening to music, watching TV, ordering food, using software, storing photos, dating, learning, working out, even relaxing. Modern life didn't just create more services, it created more surfaces where money can be extracted. That's why many people feel like they're constantly paying to maintain a basic standard of life. Not luxury, not excess, just normalcy. And once normal life starts feeling like a premium product, people stop feeling secure even when they're functioning. That's a huge psychological shift because stability used to feel boring. Now it feels expensive. This doesn't mean the old economy was better in every way. It had real problems: less access, less flexibility, less efficiency, less convenience. But convenience is not the same thing as ease. That's the mistake. Modern life is often more convenient in the moment, but more exhausting over time. The old economy asked more effort up front. The modern economy often asks less effort now, and more money, more attention, and more maintenance forever. That's not automatically progress. That's a trade. And most people were never taught how expensive that trade really is. So what should you take from this? Not nostalgia, not go backward, not reject technology. The real lesson is simpler. If modern life is built to fragment your money, your time, and your attention, then financial peace requires more intentional design than ever before. That means fewer subscriptions, fewer default payments, fewer systems you don't fully understand, fewer small leaks that became permanent, and fewer conveniences that quietly turned into dependence. Because the goal is not to live like it's 1987, the goal is to understand why older systems felt easier and rebuild that simplicity on purpose. That's how you stop feeling like life is getting more advanced, while somehow becoming harder to afford, harder to manage, and harder to enjoy.